After serving a 20-year sentence, I was sitting in a restaurant eating breakfast when several police cars suddenly pulled up outside and surrounded the building. Seeing the police in full tactical gear, I immediately realized something was wrong. I quickly scanned the interior. Just an elderly couple, the staff, and two children. In a moment, it became clear that they were there for me. I didn't panic. I quietly set down my fork, calmly took out a few $100 bills, and settled the check. At that exact moment, two heavily armed officers burst through the door, shouting for me not to move and ordering me to get up slowly and walk outside. What they didn't know was that I am a retired general, and handling those two officers would have been effortless for me. But I did nothing. I raised my hands in silence and cooperated fully with the arrest. I wasn't afraid. The truth was, I was new to this small town and wanted to gauge the situation, so I decided to gather information first. Upon arriving at the station, Officer Kelly handed me a form and asked for my personal details, but I remained silent, carefully observing every minor detail of the police station. My attitude infuriated the chief, who immediately ordered that I be thrown into the detention room. That was when the detective intervened. He took me to the meeting room and explained the reason for my arrest. A brutal murder had occurred the previous night. The victim had been shot twice in the back of the head with a 9mm. Even after death, the killer had continued to mutilate the body for 2 hours before finally covering it with cardboard. Since a witness had spotted me near the crime scene that morning, I had become their primary suspect. After listening to the entire story, I, having been silent until then, finally spoke up, stating that I hadn't killed anyone, at least not recently, and certainly not in this town. Based on the information the detective provided, I pieced the details together myself. I explained to him that 3 people had killed the man and pointed out that the killer had expert knowledge of firearms, specifically using a 9mm 95-grain round and a silencer. The detective was impressed by my deduction, but the question of my presence remained. I explained that I had arrived at the bus station that morning simply to pay my respects to a blind blues singer. However, the police found only a toothbrush, a French medal, and $200 on me. No one believed I would travel 1,800 kilometers with so little luggage. Lacking an alibi, the detective decided to keep me in lockup. Then the case took a sudden turn. A phone number was discovered under the dead man's shoe. The lead brought them to Paul, a bank executive. This well-dressed man initially spoke with arrogance, claiming total ignorance. But the moment he saw a black car through the window, his expression shifted. Before the police could utter a word, he panicked and hurriedly confessed that he was the one who did it, claiming full responsibility for the murder. He was confessing so rapidly that he even cut off the officer while she was reading him his rights, as if his sole objective was to get behind bars. The detective realized instantly that it was a fake confession, but he chose to play along. He glanced at the officer and arrested Paul to see how the rest of the mystery would unfold. With a new suspect in custody, the detective realized he had done me an injustice. He was just about to release me when I shifted my demeanor and spoke in a cold, level tone.